le ciel bleu vole en silence.
Is your scarf aging you? Is it making you look more mature? Is it making you look frumpy? Today I'm going to break down how to wear a scarf in a modern way and the do's and don'ts of scarf wearing 2024. So if you're new here, my name is Netta. I'm a personal stylist. My whole goal is to help you build a wardrobe and a style that you love. So you look beautiful, you feel confident every single day. That's the goal of everything I do. It's the goal of my new Modern Classics Wardrobe Guide. It is free for you to download. You can just check my description box or the pinned comment, or you can go to nettamanley.com/modernclassics to check that out. So let's get into today's video because as usual, I have a lot to unpack. First of all, a disclaimer. I don't love scarves. I don't love scarves. If you're wondering why you never see me wearing scarves, it's because I really am not a huge fan of scarves. And I'll tell you why. I think that the problem with scarves is that they can look very classic and they can also look very fussy. Both of those are aspects that are really not aligned with my personal style, especially the fussiness. That's something I think we should all be mindful of when we're looking at scarves. So this is the thing, fussiness and perfection. Something being overly polished, overly perfect, overly studied is aging, instantly aging. So if you've got something that looks absolutely 100% flawless, refined, chic, polished, like perfect, without an element of personal style, just like textbook perfect, that can look really mature and really aging. And then also fussiness, a lot going on, just too many details can also look instantly aging. So I'm always a little leery of scarves. Another thing I sometimes worry about with scarves is the amount of fabric that is coming really close to our face and whether we've got enough space here to actually pull off that quantity of fabric. So I'm going to pop up a picture here. When I do wear a scarf, I like to wear a scarf simply like this, just like a classic wraparound style. This is why I generally prefer like longer, skinnier scarves. It's easier to do that with these types of scarves, but this is typically how I would wear a scarf. Now, I'm going to put up a couple of pictures, one after the other, of scarves that really just cover the entire bodice area, right? Like the entire front area of your body. And the problem with these scarves is that these scarf ties, like this style of wearing scarves, is that this really works best on very tall women, slim women, and women without full busts. If you've got a lot going on in this area, if you're not really that tall, this is going to be a harder look to pull off without looking, like I said, aging or a little bit too fussy, or like you've just like lost your neck, lost your chin, like you look a little shorter and hunched over. Like if you don't want that effect, these looks that have a lot of volume at the front, those are best for tall, slim, bustless women. Now, I am not tall or bustless, so the next thing you want to ask yourself again is if this is something the Fashion Fit Formula will tell you, how much space do you have between here, and how much space do you have between here and the middle of your bust? So if you're short from here to here, or your neck is short, you're going to have to be mindful of how much volume you add with a scarf tie. Okay, so flattery aside, I want to share some do's and don'ts that are going to help you look and feel more flattered in a scarf. Now, the first thing I want to say, the first don't, is don't wear a classic scarf in a classic way. We're trying to modernize the look. So if we're going to modernize the look, wearing a classic scarf in a really classic way can definitely look aging, look a little bit too mature. I'm going to pop up a couple of pictures here. Of kind of what that can look like to wear a really classic scarf in a really classic way. So these are all classic scarf ties. They've all got a lot, a swoop going here. And truly, the taller and slimmer and more bustless you are, the easier you'll be able to pull off some of these styles. But also, the more modern the pattern on the scarf is, the less classic the pattern on the scarf is, the better ties like this are going to look. So these get progressively more modern as I'm showing you these pictures that go from more classic to more modern. But I don't like classic scarves worn in a classic way. I feel like a scarf is the type of item that really needs to look fresh and modern, or it's going to look fussy and aging. Okay, the next thing I want to say is that you should be creative with your scarf ties. I've seen some really cool and really creative scarf ties. One of the ways I love seeing a scarf is as a top. Now, before you turn off the channel and are like, I'm not going to wear a halter top like that, whether or not you choose to wear a halter top is up to you, but I love the look of this scarf top under a jacket. So if you're really creative, I am not. One of the reasons you rarely will see me do a video where I tie things a lot is because I apparently failed fine motor skills in preschool, and I'm just not a great scarf tire like that. But if you are creative in this way, wearing a scarf as a top under a jacket, really, really cool look. I've also seen a scarf worn as a top, like kind of a corset over a white button-down shirt. Really, really cool, really creative. Like when you take a scarf, which is a classic piece, and you make it creative, you make it your own, you're absolutely modernizing the scarf, and there's no risk of fussiness or aging there. I also like the scarf worn, I've seen it worn as a sarong, of course, but also sarong over pants. Like, I think that's a really cool look. Or just as a full skirt. You know, that's another really cool way to wear a scarf. So get creative with the ways that you tie your scarves. I think there are just so many different and interesting ways that we can kind of experiment with scarf tying. So I really like this one from, I think this is Rag and Bone, but they've got the scarf tied like it's just a tiny tie right here, and then the rest of it is over the back of the shoulders. So again, it's just kind of a creative and unexpected way of wearing a scarf. So be as creative as you want to be. Next is do try an oversized cozy scarf this season. So one of the main things that's happening in scarves is gargantuan oversized wool or cashmere or blend scarves that are super, super cozy and practical for those of you who live in cold climates for fall. So definitely try one. Acne, the one from Acne Studios is the really hot one. It's about $290, which is very expensive for a scarf, but not as expensive as some other trends are out there. But this is a scarf you're going to see everywhere. It's viral, it's on Instagram, it's everywhere. But you don't have to obviously spend $290 on a scarf. There are lots of cute and cozy options from places like Mango and H&M and Zara, as well as brands that are higher end like Totem and like Acne and like All Saints. They're just some really, really cool oversized cozy scarves. These look absolutely modern. Now that said, they're huge. So you've got to take scale and proportion into account. These, again, are going to look best on tall women who don't have very full busts. So if that's you, go for it. For the rest of us, recognize that if you are plus size or you're petite, you're going to have to adjust the scale and kind of take proportion and flattery into account when you try these scarves. But I love them. Okay, next don't wear a scarf over one shoulder. I just feel like this is a dated look. I feel like it's a dated look, and I feel like, again, it's a potentially fussy and aging look. So the classic scarf tied over one shoulder looks impractical and a little awkward in my opinion most of the time. So this is not a look that I recommend. Now this last little picture, I think this is from Burberry. This is a really modern, again, not practical, but a modern and kind of cool take on wearing the scarf over one shoulder. So if you're going to make it your own, go for it. But if you're going to do it in a really classic way, I would advise against that. Okay, the next tip is do choose a scarf with 3 or more of your wardrobe colors in it. So whatever the colors are that you wear a lot in your wardrobe color palette, if you can find a scarf that has 3 or more of those colors in it, it will be an amazing way to tie together outfits and to kind of unify your looks. They're just super, super versatile and can be really, really chic and really stylish. So I'm going to show a couple that are multicolored, that have just gorgeous, gorgeous colors. This first one is from J.W. Anderson, not for everybody, but I love this cat scarf. Again, this is a really modern scarf. It might not be your style, but it's modern and it's cool. Pucci, of course, Pucci, their scarves are iconic. Their prints are iconic. This is a stunning scarf. And if you've got clear coloring, this is going to be a fabulous, or maybe cool coloring, this will be a fabulous choice for a color palette on a scarf for you. If you find any item of clothing, honestly, that has your entire color palette on it, you need to grab it. And then this last one is from Kurt Geiger. I think this is really cool, really modern, and also an affordable option. So there's scarves at every price point. And so pick one that really has a lot of your wardrobe colors in it. The next is don't put a brooch on your lapel or on your scarf. Like, if you're going to do a brooch, the brooch needs to be really cool. It needs to be really modern. You need a ton of them. It needs to be really vintage and cool. It needs to be really oversized. It needs to be really modern. It needs to be different. If it looks basic, it's going to look aging and it's going to look fussy. I also don't like these little, they look like napkin holders, but they're for scarves. Don't like this look. This is not in style. This is, again, kind of fussy, kind of aging. It's not the modern way to wear a scarf. Okay, the next don't pick an equestrian or a nautical or a paisley scarf. These are three very, very classic scarf motifs. And at the beginning I was saying don't wear a classic scarf in a classic way. Well, these are the classic scarves. The equestrian, the paisley, or the nautical motifs are the really the really classic ones. And I think that they're ones that we should stay away from a little bit. They can look very, very classic. Now, if you have one of these scarves, say you have an Hermes scarf with an equestrian print on it, am I telling you to toss it? Absolutely not. You're going to take one of those scarves and you're going to wear it in the most modern way possible. And I gave you in that Be Creative section, like you could wear a scarf like that way, or you could wear a scarf on your head, on your waist, in your bag, on the handle of your purse. Like, there are ways to work with those scarves. But if you were to buy a scarf right now, I would say pick a more modern scarf because you're going to be able to wear it in a variety of different ways. Okay, the next thing is do pick artistic, bold, and modern scarves like florals and geometric. So this is the opposite of the last. So what does a modern scarf look like? So really bold florals and patterns, really interesting geometrics. This All Saints scarf with its kind of diffused pattern, that's a cool, modern, like kind of dark pattern. That's a great option. This Eugenia Kim kind of headscarf in a geometric pattern. Now, these are modern scarves in modern patterns. So again, if you're buying a scarf now, I would go more modern because it's going to have more versatility. The next is do wrap a scarf around you several times or wear it casually undone. So what is the opposite of fussy and aging? It's effortless and modern. So when you wear a scarf, like kind of just like I just threw this fabulous silk scarf on and it looks really effortless and it looks really undone, it looks really unstudied, that's going to be much more modern looking. Is it always easy? Like, is the scarf going to move around and stuff? Yeah, sometimes it probably is. So you're going to have to play with the practicality of that. But like this scarf looped around a couple of times and kind of bunched up like that, yes, she still needs that space there. But this scarf tie and the combination of the pattern of the scarf being modern and cool and colorful, and then the way that she's wearing it makes it look really, really modern. So throwing a scarf around yourself a couple of times, whether it's those big oversized wool scarves or a silk scarf, it's an effortless and undone and cool and modern way to wear a scarf. Okay, next, this is possibly my favorite way to wear a scarf. My favorite way to wear a scarf. And I'm going to show you way too many examples of this because I think it just looks really, really cute. So this is to wear a scarf on your head. Wear a scarf on your head or in your hair. There's just so many ways to do this where it looks absolutely beautiful. I'm going to start popping up some pictures. This first look looks a little bit boho. Like, I think that looks really cool. She's got the jewelry. She's got the open neckline. She's got the cool headscarf. Like, I think that looks amazing. If that's something that resonates with your personal style, give it a try. Worst you can do is not like it and take it off, right? I really like this one with a Poochie scarf, and then she's got one like wrapped around her wrist as well. I think that's stunning. Eugenia Kim is making a lot of headscarves, so this one is a really cool one from her. It makes it easier to tie a scarf around your head if it's especially designed to be tied around your head. I love that. I also love this very classic, like 1950s looking under the chin, like Grace Kelly would have done back in the day to protect your hair. I love this look. I think I'm going to start wearing this around town, considering we've had a monsoon and I have had puffy hair now for 2 weeks. So I love, love, love that look. I think it's so, so pretty. Love this little like kind of headband updo, kind of headband / turban look. I think that's such a great look. Such a cool, cool look. Of course, I love the ponytail tie, the back ponytail tie. I think that's absolutely beautiful. I cannot get enough of a long ponytail with a long scarf look like that. I think it's so, so pretty and so, so feminine. So I'm putting a couple of those up. These are just also beautiful. Here's another one where the hair is tied back like bandana style. There are a couple of these and it's like knotted at the back of the head like that. I just love it. I just love it. I think it's so, so, so pretty and so cool. Hailey Bieber kind of did something a little creative, but I think it's a little outside of my comfort zone. But she put a silk scarf over like a cap. I don't like this look, but if you do, that could be something to try. It's definitely modern. It's definitely happening. It's definitely trendy. I really like the scarf as a headband. If it's thin enough to like, twirl, like, make it into like a strip and put it over your head, like that would be really cool as a headband. I also really saw a very cool, I would have no idea how to do this, but a scarf braided through a hair braid. It was beautiful. It looked absolutely stunning. So I just feel like a scarf in the hair, so feminine, so chic, absolutely the way that I will be wearing a scarf this season. And like I said, I should probably pull out my scarves that get little use right now and start wearing them over my hair pronto because of the weather. Like, it's practical, it's chic, it's cool, and it's definitely a modern way to wear some of the scarves that you might not be getting as much use out of. The final thing I want to say, the final do about wearing a scarf is do wear it as an accessory. So it's not just the head that can benefit from a scarf. Like, I really like the little neck scarves, like little ascot scarves, not ascot scarves, but little necktie scarves. I think these are often called twillies. I especially like them worn a little bit higher up on the neck. I think that's really flattering. It can disguise our neck, which is definitely helpful as we get older. You want to make sure you're not tying it so tight that you're accentuating any wrinkles, but I really love that look. I think it's very, very chic and modern and cool. I also like that same type of scarf tied around your wrist. I think that's beautiful. It is absolutely still in style to loop your scarf around the handle of your purse. You can tie a bow. You can just loop it around all the way. It adds color, it adds interest, it adds personality, it adds creativity. So, any way that you can wear it around your neck, at your wrist, at your waist as a belt. Couple years ago, Victoria Beckham did this look where, and it's very early 2000s, but this look where she looped the belt, the scarf around her waist like a belt and kind of like let it hang. But I'm seeing lots of variations on this. Again, this will probably work better with thinner, longer scarves, but it's fun to play with your scarf as an accessory, as a top, as something that you wear over a pair of pants or over a shirt that you may already have. Like, really be creative with it. And again, the key at the end of the day is that scarves look best when they're not fussy and when you're wearing modern scarves in modern ways. Classic scarves in classic ways or classic scarves in fussy ways are always going to look a little bit more aging. So I hope this was helpful. Of course, I will have a catalog link in the description box that's going to show you my picks for really stylish modern scarves in 2024. And again, take this and sift it through the lens of your personal style. If you have more classic personal style, I would say try one of the more classic ties, but maybe do it with a more modern scarf. Like, just play with these combinations. You're going to have to settle on a scarf tying technique that really works for you. And if you find that you're overwhelmed with the quantity of scarves, that's how I got the topic of this video. It was suggested in the Facebook group by someone who said they have so many scarves. If you feel like you've got a ton in any category, sift through them, pick your absolute favorites and start wearing your absolute favorites, and consider setting the rest aside for a while, or possibly donating them, consigning them, whatever you want to do. But just play with your favorites and have fun with them this season. They are everywhere this season, and there are cool and modern ways to wear scarves. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe so that we can keep hanging out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.